Hey everyone, I hope you're well. This is the story about what if Naruto was Tobirama's grandson and had ice release. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. So without any further ado, let's start the what if. Ichiraka Ramen Shop. As the pair of young blondes made their way inside the small comfy restaurant, they were greeted by the kind-hearted owner. Naruto-kun. It's good to see you again, my boy. Teuchi says with a smile. Hey old man. It's good to see you too. Where's Ayame-chan? Naruto asked. She's not feeling so well today, so I gave her the day off, Teuchi told him. Ah, that's too bad. Well, tell her that I miss her, and I hope she gets well soon. Naruto said with a smile. Will do, my boy. I'm sure it will make her feel much better, knowing that you care about her, said the humble ramen chef, but in his mind he knew that the little blonde's sweet words would just melt his daughter's heart out. Ino on the other hand felt a little out of place. She has no idea what the two males are talking about. She can only assume that this Ayame girl is the chef's daughter and have some sort of relationship with her fellow blonde. A part of her felt curious to know more, but the other part felt a little jealous that the chef's daughter is already so close to the young Senju boy she just met. Teuchi then finally noticed the platinum blonde girl standing beside his favorite customer, and decided to ask. And who's your cute little friend, Naruto-kun? He asked curiously with a hint of tease in his voice. This is Ino. Ino Yamanaka. I ran into her on the street earlier. Naruto introduced. Literally actually. He didn't see where he was going, and he knocked me down on my butt, Ino added. And I picked you up. So no big deal, right? Naruto defended himself. Yeah, you did. After you let my butt stay on that dirty floor for about, I don't know, an hour. Ino slightly exaggerated. Oh, don't be so dramatic, Ino. It was less than 10 minutes, and you know it. Naruto said with a scoff. And yet, it was the longest 10 minutes of my life. Ino said dramatically. Naruto is about to argue back, but their little bickering was stopped when they heard a soft laughter coming from the ramen chef. They gave him a confused look, until Naruto decided to ask. What's so funny, Teuchi-san? Asked by the confused whiskered face boy. Ha ha ha, it's just, you two make such a cute couple, Teuchi said with an innocent smile. The blonde pair instantly blushed red at old man's words, as they immediately looked away from each other to avoid eye contact. They are so flustered that they will say anything to cover up their embarrassment. Don't be crazy, Mr. Teuchi. I would never be with a stubborn klutz like him. Ino yelled out. Naruto is a little offended, as it shows the tick mark on his head, so he decided to retaliate. Well, excuse me. I wouldn't want to be with a bossy little princess like her either. Naruto fired back. Now it is Ino's turn to be offended, as she glares angrily at her fellow blonde, while he returns the glare right back at her. They even growled at each other, which made the old man's sweat dropped. Teuchi could actually see lightning shooting through their eyes at each other. He then decided to intervene before it escalates. Now, that's enough, you two. I don't condone couples fighting in my restaurant, he said with a smirk and teasing tone in the end. We are not a couple, yelled the blonde pair in unison at the old man. Sure. Now, what can I get you two? Teuchi asked, hoping to move on from the very awkward subject. Naruto and Ino angrily stare at each other while making their way to the counter stools to finally have their dinner. While Ino surfs through the menu, Naruto already knew what he wanted, so he called out his order to the humble ramen chef. I'll start with 5 miso ramen with extra pork, old man. I am so hungry I could eat your entire stock, plus I have been craving for your ramen for days. Ha ha ha, I always appreciate when someone loves my cooking. Coming right up, my boy. And how about you, little lady? Teuchi asked Ino. Well, everything on the menu sounds really good, Mr. Teuchi. I think I'll have 1 chicken ramen please. Ino asked politely. No problem. Your orders will be done in 10 minutes. Tucci then went to start cooking their ramens in the kitchen, leaving the blonde pair to converse among themselves. As they waited for their meals, Ino couldn't help but look at her fellow blonde contently, as her blue eyes were filled with curiosity. Naruto then notices her stare and felt a little annoyed, so he decided to ask her. What? Why are you staring at me? Naruto asked. I'm just a little curious. Earlier you said your last name is Senju. Any chance that relates to the first and second Hokage's clan name? Ino wondered. If you are referring to the Senju clan, then yes. I am part of that clan, Naruto answered. Wow! That means you are practically royalty. My daddy told me that the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan are the founders of Konoha. That must be so cool for you. Ino said excitedly. Yeah, it is cool, but you can't really be a clan when you're the only one left. Naruto said with a sad tone. You mean? Yeah. According to Lord Hokage, I am the last Senju in Konoha. He said the last part late, as he remembered he still has a cousin who's not in Konoha at the moment. Naruto, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, Ino apologized. Ha, it's okay, Ino. It's not your fault. Besides, whether or not I'm the last Senju, it is still my privilege and honor to be one. My grandfather was a great Senju, and probably the best shinobi of his time. And if I truly want to honor my clan, I have to surpass him, by becoming a great shinobi myself, and hopefully Hokage one day. Naruto said passionately. You want to be Hokage? Wait, please don't tell me, it is because you just want to be famous or something childish like that. No, quite the opposite, milady. Sure, I did once want to become Hokage so that the villagers could finally acknowledge and respect me. But now, I want to become Hokage so I can protect the future of this village and its people. Especially all my precious people, like Tucci-san over here. Naruto pointed out to Tucci, who in return gave a thankful smile to the little blonde boy for considering him to be precious. You want to protect your precious people? Ino asked. Yes, Ino. They are my reason for everything. To keep fighting and get stronger. Because no matter how strong we think we are, when you fight for nothing, you are rewarded with nothing. Your true strength comes from all the people you care about. They are the things that are worth fighting for. Don't you have anyone like that, Ino? Naruto asked. Well, yeah, I have my parents. My daddy could be a little overprotective sometimes, but he is great dad, and he loves me very much as I love him. My mom, she is just the best. She's very kind and beautiful. She would always brush my hair whenever I get upset, and it always cheers me up. Ino said with a smile. Then you have very good people to fight for, Ino. Especially family. Love brings people together, while power tears them apart. I mean, it is never wrong to have power, but when your heart is empty and without love, you can never truly find peace. That is why we need to have both. To be strong and remain who we are. And when that happens, we can achieve something even more beautiful, true peace. Ino said nothing, as she continues to listen intently to her fellow blonde. That is my dream, Ino. To one day, bring true peace to our hate-filled ninja world. And if I can do that, no child will ever have to learn how to grow up without parents anymore, like I did. Naruto said with a hopeful smile. Naruto was all she could sadly say, as she now began to see her fellow blonde in a whole new light. A very bright and warm light. She was truly inspired by his words. She then slowly places her soft hand over his, and give him a gentle smile, as he looked into her sky-blue eyes in surprise. Well, that sounds like a great dream, Naruto. And if you let me, I want to help make your dream come true. When you become strong, I want to be strong with you. When you fall down, I'll be there to pick you up. It's not going to be easy to make your dream a reality. But you can always count on me, she said with a bright smile. Naruto was both happy and shocked to already have someone like Ino to sincerely support his dream. He also couldn't help but blush at the sight of her smile, as he never saw anything so beautiful before. He then managed to collect himself and spoke. Thanks, Ino. You know, this sounds a little weird, but I'm very glad I knocked you down on your butt today, he said with a smile. You're right, that does sound weird, she said with a deadpan look. They both then shared a small laugh, until Ino continued to speak. But yeah, I'm glad too, she said with her own smile. Teuchi had finally finished cooking their meals, and began to serve them. Here you go, 5 miso with extra pork for Naruto, and 1 chicken for his girlfriend, Teuchi teased with a smirk. Stop it, the blonde pair tiredly yell in unison to the teasing smiling chef. As Ino is about to dig into her delicious-looking ramen, she notices that Naruto is staring at her, with a questioning and critical look. She felt annoyed that she now has an audience when she is about to eat her dinner, so she decided to ask her fellow blonde. What? Really? Just one, Ino? Yeah. So? A lady must watch what she eats, Naruto. Not everyone can eat 5 bowls of ramen like you, Ino says in a prideful tone. Oh, we'll see about that, Naruto thought, as he already knew, the second the heavenly made noodles touch her lips, she will get hooked for sure. Streets of Konoha, en route to Ino's home. Ah, that really hits the spot, Naruto says as he happily rubs his belly, full of delicious ramen. Seriously? How could you eat 25 bowls, Naruto? Ino asked in disbelief and annoyance for her fellow blonde's unbelievable appetite. 3 things, Ino. 1. I was practically starving when I was on my way to Ichiraku. 2. It was delicious and totally worth it. And 3. You're one to talk, miss 10 bowls, he said with a smirk. This causes the platinum blonde to blush from embarrassment, as she too couldn't stop herself from ordering more than 1, the second her first bowl was done. Shut up, baka. I thought it was really good, and I was hungry too. So big deal. Ino tried to defend herself, but Naruto didn't care for her excuse. Oh yeah. What happened to a lady must watch what she eats, Naruto? Not everyone can eat 5 bowls of ramen like you, Naruto says with a mock voice impression of Ino. Naruto laughs a little after seeing her embarrassed blush once more, and her cheeks pouted angrily for him. They then arrived at Ino's house. By the way, Ino, you said your dad is on a mission right now, but how about your mom? Isn't she home? Naruto asked curiously after recalling what she told him when they first met. No, she went to the land of rivers a couple of days ago to get some new exotic seeds for our flower shop. She wouldn't be back until the end of the week too. So that just leaves me all by myself. I see, was all the sunny blonde boy could say, after finally understanding her situation. So where do you live? She asked curiously, and hoping he wouldn't have to walk far because she insisted that he escorted her home first. Oh, it's right, oh wait, there it is. Just down the corner, the apartment building on the left. Naruto pointed out to his home, surprised that it is not too far away from his new friends. You live in the new shinobi apartment building? That's so cool. She asked with a little bit of joy in her voice. Yeah, I guess that makes us neighbors. Sort of, Naruto said with a smile. Yeah, I guess so, she said with her own smile at her fellow blonde, happy that they live nearby each other. Well, tonight has been fun. But I think I should go home now. It is very nice meeting you, Ino. Maybe I'll see you around sometime. Naruto said. Yeah, same. It has been fun for me too. Good night, Naruto. Ino said. Good night, Ino. As Naruto was about to walk away, Ino couldn't help but feel that she has to say something quick, otherwise she might regret her hesitance in the future. Wait! Ino yelled out. Naruto stopped and looked back at her. Yeah, he responded. If you want him, we can hang out again tomorrow. I mean, if you want to, she asked shyly with a little blush on her cheeks. Naruto felt very happy that the pretty girl he met earlier wanted to see him again. He truly enjoyed spending time with his fellow blonde. She is kind, supportive, and funny, but more importantly, she is his first real friend, who is his age. Sure. I'll like that very much, he said with a big bright smile. Great. I mean, great, ha. She tried to cover her excitement with her calmness, and try to laugh away her embarrassment. Meet me at my flower shop at 12 p.m. sharp. And don't be late. Or you will pay. Ino said with a more authoritative voice. Still a bossy little princess, aren't you? Naruto said with a deadpan look. Yup. Get used to it. Ino said, with closed eyes and a proud smirk. Ha ha ha, well of course, milady. It would be ungentlemanly of me to keep such a pretty girl waiting. Naruto says in a dramatic tone. This caused the platinum blonde girl to blush heavily. Naruto notices it and couldn't help but laugh. Ha ha ha, see you tomorrow, Ino-chan. He said with a smile and waves her goodbye as he walks back to his own home. See you tomorrow, Naruto. She was completely flustered of how easily he was able to call her pretty, like it was natural for him. Also the added chan he so casually said with her name. Ino then went inside her house and closed the door behind her. She leans against the door and realized that her heart was still beating fast whenever she thinks about her fellow blonde. She couldn't help but smile whenever she thought about all the kind words he said to her, and her smile grew even wider at the thought of seeing him again tomorrow. She then blushes in embarrassment, and rid herself from any lovey-dovey thoughts of the stubborn annoying blonde boy. He's just a friend, he's just a friend, he's just a friend, he's just a friend, a very cute friend, and oh wait, she repeatedly thought to herself, but failing to get rid of her blush at the last thought. 5 days later. Naruto and Ino have been spending a lot of time together ever since they met. They get along very well due to their very similar personalities. Naruto may not be as loud as Ino, but he can be if he wanted to. They would talk, play games, and occasionally went out to have their breakfast, lunch and dinner together. Naruto would often visit her at her flower shop, helping her out with anything she needs there. They would occasionally have to carry heavy bags of soil to the storage room, and water the large garden of flowers in the store. Ino even teach Naruto everything she knows about gardening and flowers. Ino has always loved flowers. As a Yamanaka it is only natural, but she always loves the way they made her feel. She even studies that certain flowers have hidden meanings like love, health and friendship. Naruto would occasionally tease Ino for fun, especially with flowers. Despite her tough attitude, she is easily flustered when it came to him. But she refuses to lose to her fellow blonde, and decides to tease him back. She has the most advantage against him though, since Ino is a pretty girl, while Naruto is still a boy. She would laugh out loud whenever she could make him faint. Despite their constant innocent bickering and teasing, they became very good friends, and would always enjoy having each other's company. Yamanaka Flower Shop. Ino is currently watering all of the beautiful flowers in her garden. Since her mother won't be home in a couple of days, and she was still a child, the shop is temporarily closed until her mom or dad returns from their trips. As she continues to water her flowers, she heard a knock coming from the front door. She then went to answer the door, and who she saw made her smile immediately. Hey, Naruto. I see you are right on time. Ino said happily. Haha, of course. Whenever you said, you will pay, if I'm late, I get a very bad feeling that you actually mean it. Naruto shivers from the thought. Good. You are starting to understand me a lot better now. Hi, Ino said with a proud smirk and a giggle at the end. Aside from bossy? Sure, Naruto says with a deadpan look. Baka. Every girl is bossy. It's just the way we are. If we are not, then you boys will just keep doing more stupid things and probably get yourselves hurt. she said in a matter of fact. So, you're bossy because you care? He asked confusingly. Exactly, she said proudly. That's a little troublesome, don't you think? Isn't there another way to show you care that is better than that? Don't use that word. A lazy friend of mine uses that word constantly. And I'm sick of hearing that. Ino stated, thinking about a certain Nara. What? You mean, true? Yes. That. Don't say that again. Oh really? Well, that must be really TRO. Don't you dare. Blee. I'm warning you, Naruto. That's it. Naruto ran around the store laughing, while an angry Ino chases him with the intent of a beatdown. She eventually managed to tackle him to the ground, but in reality he just let it happen. She excitedly pins both his hands apart with her own, while she was sitting on his stomach, her face near his, as she looked straight into the violet orbs of her fellow blonde. To most people, this scene would look like just two kids playing around and having fun. But these young blondes have already possessed a mature mindset, and they couldn't help but blush from the very close contact with each other. Their hearts are throbbing, and blood is rushing through their heads. Ino calmly got up from Naruto and extended her hand to help up her fellow blonde, which he shyly accepted and took her little hand in his. We should go now, right? Asked shyly by the platinum blonde. Yeah, come on, I know a great place for us to get some sweets. Answered the sunny blonde. The Konoha Park. Naruto and Ino are now sitting comfortably on a park bench together, enjoying the nice warm sunny day, with a couple sticks of dangos. They stopped by the dango shop first to get some sweet treats, but Ino notices something very odd when they made their way between there and the park. Curiosity overcomes her, as she then decided to ask her fellow blonde a question. Naruto? Yes, Ino-chan. Why did the villagers look at you, like you stole their ice cream or kicked their puppies? Naruto knew this moment was coming, as he too noticed the hateful glares he was receiving from the villagers earlier. But now he is afraid that his burden will drive his new friend away. So he decided to be the ignorant one for a change. Who knows? They always look at me like that. Naruto says, nonchalantly. But unfortunately, Ino could tell that he was not being honest. Naruto, my daddy is known as one of the best interrogators in the village. And I have been around him long enough to learn when somebody is lying. So, what are you not telling me? Ino asked, slightly persistent. But all Naruto could do was look down in shame. It's complicated. Very complicated. And it's not something I can just tell anyone. Naruto said. But I thought. Ino couldn't finish her sentence, as she looked down sadly and disappointedly. Naruto was able to see how upset she was, that he couldn't tell her, so he decided to explain himself. You think I don't trust you? Naruto asked. Yeah, maybe. Ino answers sadly. Ino-chan, I would like nothing more but to share my secret with you. But, I'm scared. Naruto admitted. Scared of what? She asked out of worry. That when you find out my secret, you will see me just like everyone else. So full of hate and fear. And, you won't want to be my friend anymore, Naruto said sadly, with a tear threatening to fall from his eye. Ino could hear the sadness in his voice, so she gently places her hand on his, to comfort her fellow blonde. Naruto, I would never, ever, hate or be scared of you. I promise. She said with a smile. This immediately made Naruto smile as well, before she continues. But, I can't promise I will never be mad at you. Because no matter how cute you are my stubborn whiskered friend, you always find a way to piss me off. Because that is how our friendship works. Ino said with a smirk. Ha ha ha, likewise, Ino-chan, Naruto said with his own smirk. They both shared a small laugh and eventually stopped to look at each other with a warm smile. Reassuring one another that they will always be friends, no matter what. You don't have to tell me now, Naruto, I understand if you are not ready. But when you are, I'm here, for you. Ino said with her bright smile. Thanks, Ino-chan. Naruto smiled back at her. As Ino is about to reach out for another stick of their sweet treats, the unbearable happened. Oh no! We are out of dangos. Ino says out loud to her fellow blonde. She then gives Naruto her biggest puppy dog eyes, implying to her fellow blonde that she really wants more. She even added a cute please to seal the deal. Naruto blushed because of the cuteness and couldn't resist. Fine, fine. I'll be right back. You bossy little princess, Naruto says, before heading out to the dango store. She giggled at his last comment of her, and couldn't stop looking at his retreating figure. Ino still couldn't shake the constant butterflies she feels in her stomach every time she is with Naruto. She knew deep down, she likes him. But her pride won't let her be the one to say it first. Her thoughts are broken when she heard a mixture of yelling and crying near her. Ino turned around and saw a group of kids, who are slightly older than her, that were gathering and surrounding a small person. A little girl her age. She then made her way to the large group to get a closer look of what is happening. Apparently the group of older kids are mercilessly bullying the little girl. The girl couldn't help but cry from all the name calls they keep giving her, like ugly or giant forehead. They then roughly push her down to the ground, until she fell on her hands and knees. Ino couldn't take the cruel barbarism anymore, and decided to intervene. She placed herself firmly between the crying girl and the young ruffians. Leave her alone, you jerks! Ino yelled out loudly to the group in front of her. What the? Get out of the way, blondie! This is between us and the freak with the giant forehead. The supposed leader of the group called out to the would-be heroine. No a chance. What do you have against her anyway? Are you just upset that your forehead is so small that you're too dumb? Because only a complete idiot and a coward would need a gang of pricks just to bully one little girl. Ino yelled out without a hint of fear in her voice. Why you? I'll show you who's stupid, you bitch. The elder boy pushed Ino so hard that she fell down on her back. Ino tried to pull herself up, but she felt her right leg was hurt when she fell. She tried her best to not cry from the pain and fear of being beaten up by some thug. The older boy then sends out an angry punch to Ino's face, which causes her to flinch out of fear. But the punch never came. She then opens her eyes to see the older boy's fist is firmly grabbed by her fellow whiskered face blonde. Naruto gave a calm and piercing glare at the older boy, to hide his burning rage for the would-be attacker of his dear friend. Now that's no way to treat a lady, Naruto said calmly, as his firm grip on the older boy's fist was tightened, causing him squeal in pain. Ah! Let go of me, you little. The older boy never got to finish his sentence, as Naruto's fist made its way fast and hard to the older boy's face, instantly knocking him out and sending him a few feet away to his gang's feet. The faces of the other older kids are in a state of great shock and disbelief, and so was Ino, and the girl she tried to help. The older kids looked at their fallen unconscious friend laying before their feet, and quickly snapped their heads fearfully to look back at the little blonde boy. So are we going to stand here all day, or are we going to fight? Naruto said with a smirk. Angered by the balzadere from the little blonde boy, the older kids blindly charge at Naruto, hoping to overwhelm the blonde with their numbers. But that proved to be a fatal mistake, as Naruto was able to use his wing fist to block all of their attacks at the same time, and counter them with his fast jabs, chops, kicks and elbow shots. His attacks were calm and graceful, but deadly at the same time. The older kids are not even genin, but Naruto figured this could be a great opportunity to field test his taijutsu kata. Despite their lack of skills, they still had the numbers, so it was still a fair fight. But it wasn't, not for them at least. Naruto even performs an over-the-shoulder takedown on one of the older boys, when he tried to punch Naruto from the side. Naruto then pins the older boy's chest firmly on the ground with his knee, and unleashes a barrage of fast jabs to his face until he was knocked out cold. Naruto called it his chain of jabs, and he labeled it as one his signature taijutsu tekwakiks. Naruto knew his attacks lack strength and power, but he can still cover that weakness with his speed. The more strikes he lands on his opponent, the weaker they will be from the damage, until they are defeated. Another philosophy of the winged fist is that it relies more towards blocking than dodging. Because by blocking his opponent's attacks, he is able to absorb the momentum and redirect it back to the attacker. That is why this old traditional taijutsu is considered to be a self-defense kata. One of them was foolish enough to try to attack Naruto from behind, so Naruto responded with a hard elbow to the gut, 2 quick jabs to the nose, and a chop at the back of the neck, knocking the older boy unconscious. Naruto then finishes the last one with a strong roundhouse kick to the older boy's cheek. He prepares himself for more out of instinct, but he then realizes that all of the young ruffians are already on the ground, unconscious. Naruto was sighing in relief, and took deep breaths to calm himself down from the adrenaline. The fight is finally over. He then turns around and saw the shock and awe faces of Ino and the other girl. Naruto then give his blonde friend a confused look and a confident smirk for her disbelief. What? You didn't honestly think that when I say, I want to become Hokage, I wouldn't be able to back it up, did you? I'm hurt, Ino-chan. Naruto said with a mock-hurt tone in his voice, and the smirk never leaving his face. Ino was silent for a moment as she was still trying to process what she just witnessed. She then let out the biggest smile she could give, and began to limp run up to him, and wrapping him in a big hug. She was so happy that he was there for her in the nick of time. Naruto was blushing heavily from the close affectionate contact by the pretty platinum blonde girl. Ino then broke the hug between them, so she could look at him with admiration in her eyes. That was so cool, Naruto. You beat those jerks up good. They didn't even land a hit on you. She said with excitement in her voice. Well, you were pretty cool, too, Ino-chan. It was very brave of you to stand up against those guys. But maybe try not provoke them too much, if you can't defend yourself. I was worried about you, when I felt you were in danger. You felt? Earlier, the dango shop. Naruto was happily exiting the shop, with more sticks of dangos in his hands. He politely thanked the shop owner before making his way to his bossy blonde friend. Then out of nowhere, some villager accidentally bumped hard into him, causing him drop his dangos on the dirty ground. He turned around and saw the villager smirking, and whispered, "Demon brat," under his voice, which the blonde could clearly hear. If this had happened earlier, before everything that has happened for him lately, he would be very disheartened and upset by the cruel treatment. But now, he is just annoyed. He wanted to beat up that arrogant prick badly. And he could. But that wasn't what he was training for. He decided to swallow his anger, and bend down to pick up the now dirty dangos to dispose of them properly in the trash bin. His Gigi and Mother Nono really drilled good manners and common courtesy into his brain. But when his right hand was inches away from the ground, he felt something strange. Like he was sensing something that didn't make sense to him yet. It was like he was seeing something in front of him, just in a different angle. He then instinctively places only his right index finger to the ground and closes his eyes to concentrate. Then he felt it again, but much clearer. The sensation he felt was unreal. He was seeing everything from an 8 kilometers distance around him. He could tell the villagers and shinobis around him apart based on their movements, but more importantly their chakra, like it was a homing beacon. As he continues to be amazed at his newly discovered sixth sense, he then felt something that worries him greatly. He felt that Ino is being hurt. He snapped his eyes wide open, and chakra sprinted his way back to the park. Not before making a mental note to ask his Gigi or Kurama if this is some other natural ability he possessed from his bloodline. Present, with Naruto and Ino. Yeah, it's hard to explain. But I knew you were hurt, so I came as fast as I could. I'm sorry, I wasn't fast enough, Ino-chan. He said apologetically. Baka. Don't apologize. You saved us. You saved me. You're my hero, Ino said with a bright smile, as she continues to hug the blonde boy, which causes him to blush brightly. But you're right. I'll be more careful next time, Ino said to reassure her fellow blonde. The blonde pair then turned their attention to the girl that was being bullied earlier by the young ruffians. She was still on her knees, as she continues to stare at her saviors, the blonde boy in particular. Aside from the large forehead, what's unique about her was her bubblegum pink hair and emerald green eyes. Ino was the first one to approach her, as she bends down to meet her gaze. Are you okay? Ino asked with worry. I'm fine. I'm sorry, I got you guys in trouble, the pink-haired girl said apologetically. Oh please, those jerks deserve it. I'm just glad my pal, Whiskers, here can save the day with his butt-kicking powers, Ino said with a bright smile and smirk when she pointed her left thumb to Naruto behind her. Whiskers? Naruto asked, hoping that wasn't her new nickname for him. Yup. I'm so going to call you that from now on. After all, it fits you perfectly, Ino said in an attempt to tease her fellow blonde. Whatever floats your boat, milady. Naruto said some sarcasm in his voice. He then walked up to the pink-haired girl and offered his hand to pull her up. I'm Naruto, by the way. And Miss Bigmouth, here is Ino, he said with a smile when he introduces himself, but broke into a grin when he introduces the girl to Ino. Hey! Ino shouted for the casual tone insult by her fellow blonde. I'm Sakura. Thank you for helping me, Naruto. Kun, the girl now identified as Sakura, introduces herself to the blonde pair, but she couldn't help but add the Kun to his name, as her cheeks continues to blush, by his bright smile and beautiful eyes. You are very welcome. And I must say, you have a beautiful name, Sakura. And I'm sure you will one day blossom into a beautiful flower when you grow up too, just like your namesake, he said with another one of his bright smile, and his eyes are literally sparkling when he complimented her, at least that is what the now identified Sakura saw. The pink-haired girl is now blushing heavily at the sweet compliment she is receiving from her handsome purple-eyed hero. She took his hand and he gently pulled her up so she can stand on her own. She still can't get rid of the heavy blush on her face, as the blonde's words continues to repeat over and over inside her mind. Ino couldn't help but feel jealous at the scene. Naruto is actually flirting with another girl in front of her. And there is nothing she could do about it because they are just friends, which for some reason angers the platinum blonde even more, as she instinctively hits Naruto on his shoulder out of anger and frustration. Stop hitting on her, Ino yelled out to her Whiskers. Ouch! That hurt. Why did you hit me, for Ino-chan? Naruto asked confusingly, doesn't understand why she hit him. Ino pouted her big cheeks in frustration for her fellow blonde's obliviousness to her unconfirmed feelings. Baka, was all she could say under her breath. Well, it's nice to meet you, Ino, Naruto-kun. Thank you again for saving me, Sakura said with grateful bow. It's nice meet you too, Sakura. And by the way, I think your forehead is pretty cute. Try embracing it more than just hiding them behind your bangs. Don't let those idiots tell you differently, Ino said with a supportive tone. She then added, Hey! If you want, we can hang out tomorrow. I can give you some ribbons to style your hair more. What do you say? Ino asked, hoping to make a new friend out of the pink-haired girl. Yeah! Sure. I would like that. Would you be there too, Naruto-kun? Sakura asked with hope in her voice. Unfortunately, I can't. I have to continue my training soon, and I need to go see my sensei tomorrow. Maybe some other time, Naruto said sadly. Oh, okay, some other time then, Sakura said disappointedly. Ino is now a little annoyed that Sakura is more interested with the blonde boy's presence than her invitation. It gave her a very unsettling feeling in her heart, and she doesn't even know why. Cool. Meet me tomorrow at the Yamanaka flower shop, Same time, today. Then we'll spend the whole day together, giving each other makeovers. Ino said excitedly to spend some quality girl time with her new friend. Okay Ino, I'll see you then. Oh, my mom's here. I have to go now. Bye Naruto-kun. Sakura says shyly before walking away from the blonde pair. Bye Sakura. Naruto said and waved goodbye at her. She didn't even said bye to me. Ino said with a slightly annoyed tone. Didn't she implied it already when she said I'll see you then. Naruto commented to prove her wrong. Baka was all she could say again. As Ino was about to walk forward, she felt pain on her leg and dropped to one knee. Eep! She squealed in pain, realizing she couldn't walk on her own. Ino-chan, are you alright? He asks with worry. No. I think that jerk hurt my leg pretty bad, she says sadly, trying to massage her leg to ease some pain. Well, I guess it can't be helped. Naruto walked forward and kneeled down in front of her with his hands behind his back, implying that he wants to give her a piggyback. What are doing? Ino asked with a huge blush on her cheeks. What's it look like? I'm giving you a piggyback, Naruto said. No. It's embarrassing. Ino said, very shyly. Ino-chan, you are hurt and you can't walk on your own. Please, let me help you. Why? Ino asked, who was blushing slightly more, because of the sweet implication that Naruto really cares about her. That's a silly question, Ino-chan. Because I care about you a lot, and I hate seeing you being hurt. Naruto said with a soft smile. Ino is now blushing brightly by her fellow blonde's words, and the way he looked at her when he said them. Ino knew that Naruto is a kind person. She thought he was just kind to everyone because it is just who he is. But she never thought that he cares about her so much that he can't stand the fact that she is in pain. He is her friend, a true friend. But deep down inside her secretly fragile heart, she knew she wanted them to be much more. But she was never the type to expose her tender feelings so openly, that is why she always hides them behind her tough facade. But, seeing the way girls her age like Sakura, who was instantly crushing on Naruto even if they just met, Ino knew she shouldn't wait around and hide behind her pride forever, especially when she knows her feelings for her fellow blonde are strong and real. Naruto is a handsome boy, who is not only kind-hearted but a badass ninja to be too. Many girls will no doubt race towards him, if she gives them the chance. She needed to make her move quick, before it's too late. But until then, she just wanted to go home, and rest her injured leg. Ino then hops on Naruto's back, with her hands on his shoulders, while his were holding the back of her thighs. They both blushed from the tenderness of their touch, but decided to move past it. Naruto then began to carry Ino back home on his back. Streets of Konoha, en route to Ino's home. Naruto is once again relieved that the streets are near empty due to it being nighttime already. The blonde pair are currently walking in an uncomfortable silence, due to the position they were in. Ino could literally feel her heart racing, as she has never been in this close proximity with Naruto in such a long period of time before. She knew she wanted to confess her feelings for him, but she wanted to do it her way. And she wanted to do it slowly. Naruto, what kind of flowers do you like? Ino cursed herself for the first thought that came into her head, on how to start the conversation. Well, I guess that depends on the flower. What it looks like, the way it smells, and how it makes me feel. Naruto answered honestly. Okay, but there are plenty of flowers in the village. Many are beautiful and of different types. So, if you have to choose one flower, and only just one, which one will you choose? She tried to be as vague as possible, but not too obvious. Why so curious about my preference of flowers, all of a sudden? Naruto asked confusingly, not understanding what she really meant. I'm just asking. Just answer my question, Baka. She yelled out frustratingly for his obliviousness. Naruto was silenced by her sudden outburst, which Ino instantly regrets, when she saw the hurt look in his eyes. "Please," Ino asks softly, but sounds more like she is pleading to him. Naruto could hear the desperation in her voice, as she continues to gaze into his violet eyes behind his shoulder. It is like she needed to know his answer. Naruto tried to rock his brain as to why does his preference of flowers is so important to his fellow blonde. He then began to analyze what she said to him earlier. And it finally hit him. She wasn't really asking about flowers, she was asking about what kind of girls does he like. At first, he thought it was weird of her to ask something so odd and so sudden. But then, he could feel it. He feels her rapid heartbeat, pacing behind his back as she continues to lean forward on him, waiting for his answer. Naruto may be oblivious sometimes, especially when it comes to romance, but he wasn't that dense. He could clearly tell that the cute blue-eyed blonde girl that is riding comfortably on his back has feelings for him. Naruto's heartbeat instantly quickens at the thought, as a bright blush is slowly building up on his cheeks. On the inside, Naruto wanted to jump out of joy, as the girl who he befriended and instantly connected, who believes in and supports his dream, who always made him laugh, and had given him the most wonderful memories of his childhood years. Who he saw, as the most beautiful thing he had ever seen, felt the same way as he always had for her. But Naruto is still Naruto, as he wanted to have some fun with her first. "Well, if you must know, Ino-chan. I like my flowers quiet," he said with a smirk. Ino wanted to punch Naruto after hearing what he just said. She knows who she is. And she knows she is a loud person. But she couldn't help but feel rejected by this, until Naruto decided to continue. But then again, the loud ones are always the fun ones. They are not afraid to be who they are, and they are certainly not the type to take no for an answer. And despite their tough exterior, inside they are soft and gentle. Full of love and beauty. And I think that's awesome. Naruto said with a smile. Ino felt hope build up in her heart again, as she continues to listen to what he has to say, with a small blush building up in her cheeks. I like it when my flower makes me feel happy, yet uneasy at the same time. It reminds me of how wonderfully unique it is. Naruto said. Plus, I already have one flower in mind. The first moment I saw it I just knew, it is the most beautiful thing I ever seen in my life. Its look, its smell, its touch, its voice. It always gives me this warm feeling, that I just want to stay with it, for as long as I can. Ino's blush brightens even more, as she is already suspecting that her fellow blonde is fully aware, and going along with her vague question. She just hopes that his answer will be the one she has longed to hear. Where is this flower now, and what is it called? Ino asked with hope in her voice. Well, if you must know, I'm holding it, and it's called the Ino Yamanaka flower. The most beautiful flower in the world, Naruto said with a bright smile as he looks into her eyes, filled with fondness and love. Ino's face has turned vermilion red for her crush's wonderful declaration of her. Her heartbeat is so fast she could almost faint. She could feel happy tears threatening to fall from her eyes. Can you put me down for a second? Ino said calmly, while her undying joy still remains on her face. Naruto then gently places her back on her feet and turned to face towards her. Naruto and Ino couldn't stop blushing as they continue to look lovingly at each other. Their hearts couldn't stop beating so fast, as if they are yelling at them to do something. Ino couldn't stop herself anymore, as she leans in and places her soft lips to land on his in a delicate kiss. It was a small and chaste kiss, but it still manages to bring a deeper blush on both their faces. The kiss ended quickly, as Ino had realized what she had done and pulled away. I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me, I was just so. Ino said in a panic, but couldn't finish her sentence, as Naruto immediately places his lips back to hers in another soft kiss. She was shocked by the sudden bold action of her fellow blonde, but she eventually closes her eyes and blissfully leaning into the kiss, as if she felt all her worries are slowly melted away by his tender lips. They then slowly pull their lips away, and continue to happily gaze upon each other, like they had just found buried treasure. They later took each other's hands and intertwined their fingers. "So, what does this mean for us? Are we?" Ino asked. "A couple?" Naruto answered, but it sounded like a question. "If you don't want to call us that, it's fine," Ino said with a dejected tone. "No. I like it. It sounds right, Ino-chan." Naruto said with a smile. "Me too. And I totally agree, Naruto-kun," Ino said with her own smile. She then wraps her arms around his neck, as he held her small waist close to his, and leaned forward, their faces together, to share one last kiss for the night. Ichiraka Ramen. Tucci is about to close his shop for the night, until he suddenly sneezes. He then realizes what is happening, and could only say 3 words with a smirk. Totally called it. 4 months later. Naruto has finally completed his training with the 3rd Hokage. The old man has already set the foundation for the young Senju's skills as a shinobi. Knowing that his Jiji cannot be his sensei forever, Naruto will have to resume his training on his own, until he is put on a genin team. Hiruzen and Kakashi had already evaluated Naruto's skills and intelligence based on his short training regime, and deemed him to be at high genin level. After perfecting his chakra control, Hiruzen had taught Naruto several ninjutsus based on his elemental affinities. 3 for each, to be exact. For his water style, he had learned 1. Liquid bullet / C rank / offensive equals the user creates water in their body using chakra. The user then spits the water from their mouth as orb-shaped projectiles, whose destructive potential are determined by how much chakra is placed in them. The orbs travel quickly towards the target, dealing extensive damage upon impact. 2. Raging waves / C rank / offensive equals the user spews water from their mouth in a waterfall-like fashion to wash away the target. One can freely control the power of this tekuhike by the amount of chakra needed and then released. While considered to be a basic water release tekuhike, it has many variations. 3. Water wall / B rank / defensive equals the user spits a stream of water from their mouth at the ground, which circles around them and rises upward to create a wall. If the user is standing on a body of water, they can instead create the wall from the surroundings. The water wall defends anyone within its perimeter from attack, with the wall's strength being determined by how much of the user's chakra is put into it. Users control how long the wall lasts as well as how much water it's made with. Because the water is clear, the wall doesn't obstruct the user's vision, allowing them to make their next move uninhibited. The wall's initial formation, if timed correctly, can be used to fend off opponents, flinging them away as the wall rises. To his benefit, Naruto had inherited his grandfather's unique mastery of water style, allowing him to create vast quantities of the substance without a present water source, enabling him to use high-level water-style jutsus like the water wall at any given time. For his wind style, he had learned 1. Great breakthrough / C rank / offensive equals the user breathes wind from their mouth, blowing away whatever is in front of them. The tekuhike itself is quite simple, but its power varies significantly depending on the user's skill and how strong they make the winds. 2. Gale palm / C rank / offensive and supplementary equals the user can either increases their velocity, or by the user clasping their hands together, wind is compressed and transformed into a powerful gale, which has enough force to knock over a person. When used in conjunction with shuriken or kunai, the tools become more lethal as their speed is increased. 3. Vacuum bullets / B rank / offensive equals the user takes a deep breath and exhales several small blasts of sharp wind chakra that scatters in different directions, making it very difficult for one to avoid without injury. Due to the properties of this tekuhike, the expelled bullet-sized blasts are capable of piercing into and potentially through an opponent's flesh. Hiruzen even managed to discreetly find Minato's and Akira's scrolls based on the Hyoton jutsus in their old home, which is sadly now an old abandoned rundown house. He was astonished by the potential of its jutsus. It was almost as powerful and as versatile as the Mokuton. The old Hokage then handed Naruto his birthright, or family heirlooms if he would call it. He then instructed his young blonde student to learn and master at least 4 Hyoton jutsus, As one of the last Yuki member in the world to possess the Hyoton, Naruto knew he needed to proudly maintain and master his Kekkei Genkai to honor the clan's memory. It took him almost 3 months of non-stop training, but he eventually was able to learn his 4 chosen jutsus. 1. Shattering Ice Spear/B rank/offensive equals the user can create several large ice spikes to emerge from below to impale anything in their vicinity. The rate at which this occurs is so sudden that it's considered to be a certain kill. 2. Glacial Dome/B rank/defensive equals the user can quickly freeze the surrounding air and create an icy, transparent igloo-like dome around themselves and/or allies to act as a defense. It is strong enough to withstand the air assault of so many explosive tags at once, remaining almost undamaged. 3. Frozen Capturing Field/C rank/supplementary equals the user freezes the ground underneath a target to immobilize and freeze their feet, rendering them motionless for a period of time. 4. 10,000 Ice Petals/C rank/offensive and defensive equals the user unleashes a barrage of ice darts. The intensity of the cold is so great that should a person attempt to block them, it will cause severe damage to the afflicted limb. The user can also use this defensively by creating a wall of ice to create distance between the user and their combatant. Hiruzen couldn't be any more prouder with his latest young student. He was blooming into a powerful yet compassionate shinobi. Naruto's dedication and hard work was not wasted, as he will only continue to grow and improve himself over time. Naruto's taijutsu and chakra control has greatly improved as well over the months. His connection with Kurama and his vast chakra had become more natural and fluid that Naruto wouldn't be overwhelmed by its sheer raw power anymore. Naruto even told the old Hokage about his sixth sense he discovered on the day he met Sakura and kissed Ino. Hiruzen's eyes widened, knowing full well what it really is. It seems that Naruto had also inherited his grandfather's natural talent for sensory. And when Naruto explained how he used it for the first time, it was the exact same way Tobirama performed his signature sensory perception. Tobirama was an adept sensor. By touching the ground with just his finger, he could accurately detect the presence and location of targets in the surrounding area. He could also sense a person's chakra from countries away, identifying a target's ancestry from their chakra signature, and even pinpoint a target's exact location while blinded. Naruto may not be at the same level as his legendary grandfather yet, but his sensory abilities are still strong enough to alert him when Ino was in danger. Speaking of the young Yamanaka, Naruto and Ino had been closer than ever. The night they first kissed and became a couple had only made their bond stronger. They still maintain their usual love/hate treatment of each other, but they always find comfort in one another. Naruto and Ino are still children, so they didn't know much about romantic relationships. They took it slow and still treated each other like they did before. They usually just spend a lot of time together, and occasionally share some innocent kisses in private, but nothing above that. To most people they just seemed like only close friends, and the blonde duo were completely fine with it. They rather not have other people pry on their still developing relationship when they are still trying to figure out how relationship even works. Naruto would even help train Ino with her taijutsu and chakra studies. After learning that Naruto wanted to enter the Ninja Academy next year to become an official shinobi, she wanted to become one with him. At first she was considering working full-time at her family's flower shop, despite her father's constant encouragement to become a ninja. But Ino decided to become a strong kunoichi on her own, to fulfill her promise to Naruto and help make his dream a reality. Ino is truly inspired every time Naruto talks about achieving true peace, and realizes that she wants that for her village and the world too. Many of her clansmen died in the last war, including friends and cousins of her parents. She too wanted to make sure it never happens again. Despite her constant nagging, Naruto still didn't have the courage to meet her parents yet. He fears that every adult hates him, and that includes her parents as well. While he does not doubt that her parents are good people, based on how Ino describes them, he still didn't want to take the chance, otherwise risk losing Ino. He still couldn't tell her about his burden yet either, but he wanted to one day. He just needs the right moment. Konoha streets, en route to the Shinobi Academy. It is finally time for Naruto to enter the academy. His entry is a couple months late due to his difficult long training with the Hyoton. Ino had to start her first academy days without him, despite her protest. He knew that she would be extremely mad, but he assures her that he will join her class soon, and they will be together again like always. Naruto is currently walking the streets of Konoha, all the way to the academy. But to his surprise, he wasn't alone. Two of his precious people decided to accompany him. You guys don't have to come with me, right? Naruto asked the duo. And miss my GAKI on his first day of school? Not a chance. Yelled passionately by the purple-haired Kunoichi. You sound like you're my mum, Anko-nichan, Naruto says, slightly annoyed by his big sister figure. But in his heart he was happy that she cares so much just to accompany him on his first day. Hi, I might as well be, And Kakashi here is the daddy in this scenario. And you, my little blonde, are our cute little Gaki. And as good parents, we wanted to make sure your trip to the academy is safe and sound. Isn't that right, Daddy? Anko says teasingly, with a wink at the end to the silver-haired teen. Anko, you're embarrassing the boy. Kakashi says, with a tired sigh. Kakashi and Anko had become very close ever since their friendly encounter, during Naruto's training with the old Hokage. They both won't admit it, but they absolutely love their little blonde wonder, and they have a lot in common in certain ways. Kakashi found her to be a tad overdramatic and slightly crazy. But he likes the fact that she is a very open-minded and free-spirited person. He feels very comfortable around her due to their similar pain-filled past. And he knew that she is the only person he can console to. Anko, on the other hand, still thinks Kakashi to be a little stuck-up when it comes to rules and behavior, mainly towards her. Anko never truly had a friend before, except with a fellow Chunin Kunoichi named Kurina Yuhi, who was there for her when she was discarded by her former sensei. But Kakashi was a very different case to her. She knew about his past and his tragic losses. Because of this, she couldn't help but feel so open with him. In her heart and mind, she knew that Kakashi is someone who she can truly be herself with. Plus, she finds it very entertaining every time she teases him. What? Don't tell me you are already tired of your Anko-chan? Anko says with a teasing tone, as she wraps her arms around the Kakashi's bicep, which causes the silver-haired teen to blush behind his lower half-mask, as he could feel her soft perky breasts pressing against him. Anko-nichan, please stop teasing Kakashi-nisan. You'll give him a nosebleed again, Naruto says with a slightly annoyed tone, to the purple-haired Kunoichi. MMPH Killjoy, Anko says with a pout, as she lets go of Kakashi's arm, before his mask can turn completely red from his bleeding nose. Kakashi felt both grateful and a little resentful of his little brother figure's timely intervention, and finally spoke up. So Naruto, you excited about your first day in the academy? Kakashi asked. Yup, super excited, Kakashi-nisan. But, I'm a little nervous though. What if I can't make any friends? What if they don't like me? Naruto asked with worry and doubt in his voice. Oh, come on, Gaki. If you can make Mr. Stuck-up here, and the ever-so-wonderful me, your friends, I bet you can make friends with anyone. Anko says, with a reassuring smile. Offense taken. But she's right, Naruto. You'll be fine. So don't worry about it, Kakashi says with an eye smile. Plus, he has that pretty little Yamanaka girl to keep him company. Anko says with a smirk and a teasing voice. Say shut up, Anko-nichan. Naruto says with an embarrassed blush. Ha, they grow up so fast, don't they, Kashi-kun? Anko says with a satisfied smirk, and a slight teasing tone at the silver-haired teen's nickname. Sigh, you never going to stop calling me that, are you? Kakashi asked with a tired sigh. Nope, Anko simply says with another smirk at the Onid teen. Shinobi Academy entrance. The trio had finally arrived to the academy, and are preparing to say their goodbyes before they depart. Alright, you be good now, Gaki. I don't want to hear you causing any mischief, you hear me? Anko says with smile and a surprisingly strict tone to the little blonde. Just be yourself, Naruto, and everything will be fine. Also, Lord Third asked me to tell you, to not show too much of your skills. And by too much, I mean don't kill anyone in a spar, Kakashi says with a cool tone. But my wing fist is meant for self-defense, Kakashi-Nisen. How can I kill anyone with it? Naruto asked, with a fake innocent tone, to his big brother figure. Right, and your chain of jabs at your opponent's face won't cause any head traumas. Anko says, with twice the sarcasm as the little blonde. Haha, fine, fine. I promise I won't go overboard. Naruto says with an embarrassed laugh as he rubs the back of his head. Feeling very grateful for their concern and kindness for his well-being, Naruto wraps both Anko and Kakashi in a tight hug. They in turn, return the hug back to him. Thanks for coming with me, Anko-nichan, Kakashi-Nisen. I promise I will make you both proud. See you later. Naruto says with a bright smile. He then releases them from his embrace, and waves them goodbye, as he continues to walk towards the entrance. The young Senju then enters the academy doors, leaving the teenage ninja pair by themselves, with a proud look on their faces. Anko couldn't be more happier for the little blonde, as he is about to start his journey as a Konoha shinobi. She even saw the similar look on Kakashi's masked face, and decided to say something to break the silence. See? He said my name first. I'm clearly his favorite. Anko says, with a proud smirk as she puts both hands on her hips. Sure, whatever, Kakashi says with a tired sigh. He knew Anko just wants to challenge him like she always does. Come on. You're taking me out to eat. I don't want to spend the rest of the day missing the gaki, Anko says, as she wraps her arm around Kakashi's again. Let me guess, dangos? Kakashi asked, feeling he already knew the answer. I'm actually craving for some ramen. And you're buying hi, Anko says with a cute giggle at the end. Sigh, just my luck, Kakashi once again says with a tired sigh. Feeling both Anko and Naruto can be a handful sometimes. Aw, don't be like that, Kashi-kun. And who knows, maybe after, we can, you know. Anko says, as she leans in, to whisper something into Kakashi's ear. Whatever she said, caused the silver-haired teen to blush heavily, as his eyeballs are about to pop from their sockets. Onwards to Ichiraku. Kakashi yells out as he pumped his fist in the air with joy, and begins to escort the still giggling purple-haired Kunoichi to the ever-so-great ramen restaurant. Academy, Iruka's classroom. The class is about to begin, as all the students are preparing to take their seats. Some of the students are now just arriving in the classroom and began to chat among each other. When a certain raven-haired boy came in, almost all the chatter immediately stopped. Especially the girls. It took only mere seconds, before they started yelling out. Sasuke Kyuin. The girls yelled out happily in unison, as they all had hearts in their eyes. The raven-haired boy, now identified as Sasuke Uchiha, looked unamused by the loud screeches of his female peers. They were practically begging him to sit with them. As he looked around, hoping he could find a more comfortable seat, he saw one right next to someone who is probably the only girl in his class he doesn't find annoying. He went up and took a seat right next to her, causing the other girls to fall back in disappointment. Sasuke has been always a little cold and distant with his classmates. But what he said next to the girl sitting next to him was truly a rare moment for the young Uchiha. Good morning, Hinata. How are you? Sasuke says in monotone and cool voice. Good morning, Sasuke-kun. I am well. How about you? The very shy and blushing girl, now identified as Hinata Hyuga, asked the young Uchiha next to her in return. I'm fine. Thank you, Sasuke says with the same monotone voice. His classmates, particularly the girls mostly, always wondered why Sasuke is only friendly with Hinata. Why is Shi the only person that he would interact with like a normal human being instead of everyone else? What they didn't know is that Sasuke has always been quite protective of the Hyuga heiress. She's a very kind and soft-spoken person. The fact that she is timid and fragile made him want to protect her even more. Flashback. Sasuke and Hinata met last year before the academy, during winter time. Sasuke was taking a long walk in the snowy woods, as he tries to rid himself of his doubts regarding his own worth. His father has constantly kept comparing him to his prodigy of a big brother, which has always discouraged the growing confidence in his heart. Sasuke is also talented in his own right, but having someone like the great Itachi Uchiha to live up to, he can't shake the feeling that he will forever live in his large shadow. It's not like Sasuke hates Itachi or anything. In fact, the young Uchiha loves his dear Nidaime very much. Itachi is his idol, his goal, and he wanted to surpass him one day, and be acknowledged by his father. But lately, Itachi has been more distant than usual. Before this, Sasuke could barely spend some time with him, but now it feels like he never sees him anymore. Ever since Itachi joined the Anbu, and receiving many difficult long-term missions, Sasuke felt like he is losing his Nidaime to another life. With him gone, Sasuke needed someone else, aside from his mother, to give him some positive encouragement, if he is ever going to achieve his own greatness like his dear big brother. As he continues to walk in the snow, he heard loud tauntings coming from a group of young boys. He followed the sound of their venomous voices, and saw that Hinata is being harshly insulted by the trio of young boys because of her pale lavender eyes, a simple trait of a Hyuga. Their cruel words cut deeply through her fragile feelings, as she fell on her knees on the snowy ground, with her hands covering her tearful eyes. The boys continue to insult the poor Hyuga heiress, until Sasuke came to help her. She opened her eyes and saw how he defended her honor, and called the boys out for their cowardice and stupidity. He fought them, and drove them off the best he could. His face was slightly bruised from all their punches, and his favorite blue scarf was torn during the fight. Hinata picked up the torn scarf and tried to give it back to her savior, but Sasuke told her she can keep it instead. As Sasuke was about to leave, Hinata called out to him to wait, and bowed her head to thank him for saving her. She was very grateful and told him that he was very brave. Sasuke felt warm by her kind words, as he then gave her a rare smile. Sasuke then offers to walk her home to make sure she won't be bothered by those boys again, which causes the young Hyuga to blush before accepting. Since then, they had become close friends, which is very rare for an Uchiha and a Hyuga. Regardless, right now Hinata is the only girl Sasuke could tolerate, as she was neither loud or annoying. In fact, she is the complete opposite. And he truly appreciates every time she supports him. He didn't need an army of loud cheerleaders, he just needed someone to truly believe in him. And he found that with Hinata. End flashback. Sasuke and Hinata along with their fellow classmates then turn their attention to their Chunin instructor, Iruka Umino. Iruka is a man of average height and build. He has brown hair that he keeps in a ponytail, dark eyes, and a scar that runs across the bridge of his nose. He wears the standard Konoha shinobi outfit complete with forehead protector, sandals, and flak jacket. He then begins to address his students. "Okay class, please be on your best behavior. We have new student joining us today," Iruka says with a smile. But his smile immediately faded as his students continue to voice out loud of their questions and opinions. "Who is it, Iruka-sensei?" asked by a chubby boy, as he continues to munch on his bag of chips. "Ha! I hope it's a pretty girl. If it is, I bet I can make her my girlfriend before the end of the day," says the overconfident-looking boy, with red tattoo marks on both his cheeks, that are in the shape of a fawn. "Shut up, Kibabaka. You're annoying," yelled out by the familiar pink-haired girl, Sakura. "Geez, do you have to be so loud? How troublesome," says the drowsy-looking boy with a pineapple-style hair, as he tries to resume his slumber in the classroom. "Stop sleeping around, Shikamaru. Geez, I don't understand why you have to be so lazy all the time. I mean, you're here to be a ninja for crying out loud," says the platinum blonde girl we all know as Ino. The young Yamanaka has always been so annoyed by the now identified Shikamaru for his unbelievable laziness. A part of her is also excited, as she knows full well, or at least suspects who the new student is. Naruto had told her that he will enter the academy by this week, but he didn't specify which day. He thought it would be fun to annoy her a little, as she continues to impatiently wait for him, and not knowing exactly when he will come. She is also hoping that the other girls in the class won't find her blonde paramour attractive at all. She knows it is a terrible thing to ask for, but deep down she is the jealous type, and she hates the idea of other girls trying to chase after him. But in the end, it was all just wishful thinking. Iruka is beginning to be annoyed, so he uses his big head jutsu to silence his loud talkative students. Silence! Iruka yelled out with a very cartoonish big head, causing all the students to gulp and stop talking immediately. Cough anyway, please be nice to him. You can come in now. Iruka calls out to the person on the other side of the class door. The door opens, and who should walks in, but the whiskered-faced sunny blonde boy. Everyone was now staring at him with wonder, waiting for him to speak up. Now, please introduce yourself. Iruka politely asked. Hello. My name is Naruto Senju. It's nice to meet you all. I hope we can get along, says the blonde boy with a respectful bow in the end, while flashing one of his infamous bright smiles, as he looks out to his new peers, with his beautiful violet-colored eyes. The room fell silent for a moment, especially Iruka. Senju. I thought his last name is Uzumaki, thought the scarred-faced Chunin, as he wonders how could the Jinchuriki of the Kyubi is also from the famed Senju clan. Many of his female classmates, however, have one thing in common on their minds. Senju. Wow, he must a clan heir or something. Forget clan heir. Senjus are considered royalty. He must be a prince. Holy crap. He's so handsome. Those whisker marks are so cute. The boys, however, are not too keen with his arrival though. Well, only one in particular. Damn! He's stealing all the girls' attention. What's so special about him anyway, thought by the envious Kiba, as he glared daggers at the blonde Senju. Senju thought by a curious Sasuke, as he is fully aware of the famous history between his and the blonde's clan. His eyes are so pretty, came the thought of the blushing Hinata. He doesn't look so troublesome, thought by the still drowsy Shikamaru. Oh my god! Naruto-kun is as handsome as I remembered, thought by the blushing Sakura, as she has hearts in her eyes at the sight of her handsome savior. Damn it! These girls are like vultures. Eyeing my Naruto-kun like he's some piece of meat. I wish I can go over there and kiss him right now, just to show them that we're together. But we agreed to keep our relationship low-key. What am I going to do, thought by the panicking Ino, as she is completely annoyed that the other girls, including her pink-haired friend, will try to steal her blonde paramour from her. Okay Naruto, please take any available seat you want, says Iruka to the young blonde. Naruto was then greeted by the loud multiple screeches of girls, asking desperately for him to sit with them. Naruto saw Ino, who is giving him a very worried look, but he returned it with a smile to assure her that she is the only girl for him, making her smile as well. Ino is already sitting between two other girls, one including Sakura. So sitting with his favorite platinum blonde is not an option at the moment. He then saw an empty seat right next to a black pineapple-haired boy, who is in the verge of sleeping. Next to him is a chubby boy who is happily enjoying the bag of chips he's currently eating. He then decided to sit next to them, which caused many of the girls to disappointedly stop their screeching, and Ino to sigh in relief, since Naruto wasn't sitting next to another girl. As Iruka continues his lecture, Naruto decided to pay attention, despite the scared Chunin's boringness. However, he did not fail to realize that many pair of female eyes are still lurking on him. Naruto turned his head back and saw the many girls behind him, blushing and giggling at the sight of him. Ino couldn't look even more worried, at the sight of her handsome boyfriend being ogled by her fellow peers. She was thanking herself for having the courage to kiss Naruto and be his girlfriend that fateful night. But she still couldn't stop thinking about what could have happened if she didn't. The fear of never trying, and having a heartbreaking repercussion, continues to plague her mind. The fear of not being with her dear Whiskers and not have all the great times they shared together. She instantly rid herself from all those dark thoughts, and regaining back her confidence. What matters only is that she did take the leap, and she is forever glad that she did. Lunchtime, outside the academy building. Naruto was doing his best to avoid all the girls that were hounding him. They really wanted to have lunch with him, and learn more about the mysterious handsome Senju. Naruto is very flattered and grateful for all the attention he is receiving from his female peers. But he didn't want this sort of attention, especially when he notices how troubled his dear Ino was because of it. He wanted to have lunch with his girlfriend so badly, but he had to exit the classroom quickly, otherwise he will be caught in the stampede of his new fangirl club. He then saw the same pineapple hair boy and the chubby boy, sitting in a shade under a tree. The former is laying down on the grass, relaxing and cloud watching, while the latter is enjoying his homemade lunch made by his mother. Naruto then decides to approach them, to officially introduce himself to his seatmates. "Hey, can I join you guys?" Naruto asked with hope in his voice. Really? No offense, but why would you want to join us?" Shikamaru asked out of curiosity. Given his new classmate's growing popularity, he thought the blonde would rather sit elsewhere. "Well, this spot does seem like a good place to enjoy your lunch and just relax, don't you think?" Naruto asked with a smile. Can't disagree on that. Have a seat." Shikamaru smiled and invited the violet-eyed blonde to sit down with them. "Yeah, Naruto-san, please join us," the chubby boy added, with a bit of joy in his voice. "Please, there is no need for formalities. And thanks, Naruto waiting for them to give their names. "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Choji Akimichi, this is my best friend, Shikamaru Nara." The now identified Choji introduces them both to the young Senju. "What's up?" Shikamaru greeted with lazy wave. "I'm Naruto, Naruto Senju," Naruto said with a smile. "Yeah, we know, almost every girl in class can't stop whispering and yelling out your name. It's very annoying and troublesome," Shikamaru says with a tired sigh. "Ha ha ha, sorry about that." Naruto rubbed the back of head sheepishly. "Wait a minute, troublesome. You don't happen to be Ino-chan's lazy friend, are you?" Naruto asked Shikamaru with a smirk. "Ha ha ha, that sounds like Shikamaru alright," Choji says as he laughs for his best friend's nickname. Figures. How do you know Ino, by the way?" Shikamaru asked curiously. "I met her 4 months back. We became friends ever since," Naruto says with a smile. "Oh, so you're the guy that she won't shut up about," Shikamaru says lazily, as he now knows that Naruto is the guy who Ino keeps describing as her perfect man. "She mentioned me?" Naruto asks surprisingly. "Not by name. But during the last annual meeting between our 3 clans, she mentioned she met a handsome boy, and she couldn't stop talking about him. Didn't realize he was you though," Choji added. "Really? Do tell." Naruto asked with a smirk, curious to know what his girlfriend has been saying about him. "Choji. Shikamaru. What are you two doing?" Ino came out of nowhere behind the trio of boys, surprising them all in an instant. Her voice was sweetly calm, but they were screaming with rage. Nothing, Ino, nothing at all." Choji waves his arms around trying to defend himself. "Sigh, troublesome," Shikamaru simply says. "You jerks better not talk badly about me to Naruto-kun," Ino says with a bit of anger in her voice. She then felt Naruto's hand holding hers. She looks at him, and he gave her a warm smile. "Relax, Ino-chan, they barely told me anything. Come sit with me." Naruto says as he gently pulls her down to the grass floor to make her sit next to him. Ino blushes from his smile and the sudden contact of his hand, but then pouted her cheeks angrily at him. She then begins to playfully and rapidly hit Naruto's chest with her small-fisted hands. Naruto just stood there and let her vent out her anger on his chest. "You jerk! What took you so long? Why didn't you tell me what day you were coming? Why were you looking at those girls? Do you think they are prettier than me? I hate you," Ino says with her cute squeaky voice between her tantrum for the blonde boy. Ino didn't mean anything she said, she just misses her Naruto very much. But she is a little annoyed that Naruto didn't tell her the exact day he was coming to class, or the fact that he has his own fangirl club already, and on his first day too. Ino stops her tantrum, resting her fist on his chest, as she looks deep into Naruto's violet eyes, with her slightly tearful blue ones, just waiting for his answers. "I'm sorry, princess. I finally finished my training. I thought it would be funny. I looked, because they were looking at me first. And you should know better by now, Ino-chan. You will always be the prettiest girl to me." Naruto answered all her questions, and gave her a bright smile. Ino's eyes widen and her blush deepens. Feeling her anger instantly died down by his smile. She quickly wraps her arms around him and embraces him in a tight hug. "Do you really hate me, Ino-chan?" Naruto asks the blonde girl hugging him. "Of course not, I miss you, Whiskers," Ino simply says. "I miss you too, Melody," Naruto simply says as well. Shikamaru and Choji stare at the blonde pair for a moment, with the feeling of confusion and awkwardness. They already suspect what is going on, but it is best to be certain. Guys, are you two together?" Choji asked curiously. "Well, since you guys are here, I might as well tell you. Naruto-kun and I have been a couple for 4 months now," Ino says with a happy, proud smile. Troublesome blondes," is what Shikamaru says with smirk. Ichiwai, both Naruto and Ino called out to the pineapple-haired boy, feeling offended. Don't mind him. He always says that, when he learns something new," Choji said with a laugh. "I figured. Anyway, Ino-chan and I wanted to keep our relationship as low-key as possible, so can you two please don't tell anyone about this?" Naruto asked politely, hoping they can respect their privacy. "Of course. You can trust us, right, Shikamaru?" Choji says to ensure them. "It is too troublesome to tell anyway. So yeah, your secret is safe with us." Shikamaru assured them as well. Naruto and Ino smiled at the two boys, feeling very grateful for their discretion. The four ninja-to-be kids continue to converse among each other and enjoying every second of their lunchtime. Both Choji and Shikamaru are getting to know Naruto a little better, and Ino was very happy that her blonde paramour is getting along with her childhood friends. She hardly spoke to them anymore, but with Naruto, she is able to reconnect with them once again. The blonde Senju is really enjoying his time with the lazy Nara, the chubby Akimichi and his cute Yamanaka girlfriend. They were genuinely good people, and he just knew that they could be his new potential best friends. And he was right. It was the perfect first day for the young Senju. But will tomorrow be the same? Or will trouble eventually find its way to him? Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this what if and want to see next part of it, comment down below and let me know. Also share this video with your friends. See you in the next video. Peace.